Hey guys, welcome back to the Music Hole. My name is Cole, and today we're going to be doing another entry in my best albums of all time series. And these are just albums that blew me away, that I'm just very excited to share with you guys. So I hope you like them. And today we're going back to 2005. This is the second album by Sun Kil Moon called Tiny Cities. And it's an interesting album because for some reason, Mark Kozelek, who is the singer-songwriter for this band, decided to make an album full of Modest Mouse covers. So that's kind of interesting. But I think he did a really terrific job making them his own. And I've got some clips lined up for you guys of my favorite moments, and I'm excited to talk about them. But just very quickly, so the sound of this album and Sun Kil Moon in general is basically, it's a kind of like indie folk, indie singer-songwriter vibe. And Sun Kil Moon in general is basically known for Mark's instrumental loops. So he basically records like 2 to 4 second, usually guitar loops that he just perfects, and then each song is just that loop over and over and over again with lyrics on top of it. So it might sound slightly boring, but I promise you he pulls it off. And anyway, so yeah, we're going to start with track number 1, which is a really short song. It's called Exit Does Not Exist. So let's check it out. Yeah, so, as you guys probably know by now, I start off each review just playing the first 10 or 15 seconds of the album, just to kind of give you a general sense of what the album sounds like. So, it's kind of like a very chill, very laid back, mostly acoustic guitar type sound that you're going to get. And at the end of the clip, as I mentioned earlier, that guitar sound is just going to keep looping throughout the song. I mean, literally each song is just, he establishes the guitar sound in the beginning, and then for the next, 3 or 4 minutes, or however long the song is, it's just going to keep looping. But he just has a great ear in general for hooks and the sound of the guitar, with the effects on the guitar. He just has an amazing ear, in my opinion. But anyway, so that's the beginning of the album. But I do have a second clip from this song, which has to do with the lyrics. So let's check it out.
Standing looking at a photograph you don't remember. You look out of breath at me like I'm faking. As a matter of fact, I don't recall this being taken. You don't actually exist. So I started shaking. Does not exist. Take an exit.
I love Mark Kozelek singing in this clip. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Mark's voice is just really special. And there's probably a good chance that if you don't like his singing, then you're probably not going to like any of his work. But let's just say you like his singing. This is a good example of it for me. And the song itself, I played some lyrics for you guys. It's kind of bizarre. It sounds like it's about a guy who, I guess, has schizophrenia. I'm not sure if that's what you would call it, because he basically has an imaginary friend. He hears voices, and he's looking at a photograph of one of his imaginary friends, but then he realizes, wait, this guy doesn't even exist. And as he says, he starts shaking, so he's just kind of like losing it a little bit, He's like, oh gosh, I guess I'm not better. So yeah, this poor guy, he's got some mental issues. Yeah, so that's track one. That's all I have to say about it. It's only like a minute and 40 seconds, so it's really short. But the next song is kind of interesting. It's called Tiny Cities Made of Ashes. So let's check it out.
As we're headed down the road towards tiny cities made of ashes, gonna get dressed up in plastic, gonna shake hands with the masses. Oh no. Does anybody know a way that our body could get away? Does anybody know a way?
Again, just that lovely guitar sound coupled with the production and the effects on his voice. Just the whole package for me is really special and it's really memorable. I just love this song, although I'll admit, I played some of the lyrics, but it's slightly confusing for me, but I'm going to do my best to try and figure it out. So what it sounds like is the song is about nuclear war, and I guess the main character is like a political figure in this world, and he puts on the protective gear, he puts on the plastic to meet the masses. But really, like down deep inside, he just wants to get away from it all. It's what it seems like, because he says, how does a body get away? So it's kind of a confusing song. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. So if you guys have an understanding of it, I'd love to hear it. But it's just sonically just a really beautiful song. It's a great way to start track 2. And it's one of my favorites. But track number 3, for me, is easily the best song on the album. It's called Neverending Math Equation. And just lyrically and sonically, just on all levels, I just absolutely love it. And I hope you guys do too. So with that said, let's check it out.
As I was when I was 6 years old, and oh my God, I feel so old. I don't really feel anything. On the plane, I can see the tiny lights below, and oh my God, they look so alone. I don't really feel anything. Oh my God, I gotta move on. Where do you move, or are you moving?
Yeah, I mean, just this song in particular, I can see why Mark was so interested in these Modest Mouse songs. As far as I can tell, this song is basically about a guy who is having some introspection during a plane flight. And he just feels, I guess, really young at heart. Like, he just feels like he hasn't really been able to grow up. He says he feels old, but he doesn't maybe feel old like personality-wise or responsibility-wise. And he's really worried about it, because he says, where do you move when what you're moving from is yourself? So like, I interpret that as basically he wants to be an adult, right? But in order to be an adult, he has to give up his past personality, his past life situation, which I guess he's not really willing to get rid of. That's what it sounds like. So like, he's like, I want to be a responsible adult, but I also kind of enjoy my old personality, my old way of life, So I could be wrong about that, but it made me think of that, and I just really liked it. But again, this is my favorite song, especially from a sonic standpoint. I think it's really wonderful. But anyway, that's all I have to say about it. So let's move on to track number 4, called Space Travel is Boring, which is a great song title. So let's check it out.
She's the only rocketeer in the whole damn place. They gave her a beard so she could talk to her face. She got blinded lonely, but that's just the case. Time, time, time.
So lyrically speaking, this might be my favorite song on the whole album. It's just very philosophical. It's very human, you know, because in a humorous way, he's basically talking about an astronaut who's alone in space, and you know that astronaut clearly has been dreaming of this moment their whole life. They're finally within the majesty of in the magic of space, but even that's not enough, right? Because he says. They provided him with a mirror so that he can have a face to talk to. So really the whole point of the song, from what I can gather, is that like company and you know just interacting with other people and just that like social just being social is so important to the human experience. And so like this guy, this astronaut, even though this has probably been his dream his entire life, and now he's there, he realizes just how important humanity is, like having another person to talk to and do things with. It's just a very wonderful song. It's a very beautiful message. It really stood out to me. And, you know, as I said, these are my favorite lyrics on the album, probably. But with that said, that's all I have to say about this song. And I'm going to skip a few songs. You know, they're good songs, but mostly I'm skipping them because, you know, on one hand, I want to save some things for you guys. You know, I'd be beating a dead horse slightly in the sense of like, you know, they have wonderful guitar loops, wonderful singing, but nothing that like really stood out to me. So I'm going to skip ahead to track number 8, which is called Gray Ice Water. And I really love the sound of this song. And I have a clip of some of the lyrics. So let's check it out.
You took the path of least resistance on the phone, cutting out talking. Short to long, long, long distance. You're standing by the gray ice water. Standing by the gray ice water. Out in the wind, above the ground, out in the water. You had yourself a crazy lover. Become unfrozen, trying hard to forget her.
Man, those lyrics are just so sad. You know, here's this guy who was head over heels for somebody, but it sounds like she developed some sort of mental disorder, or maybe she already had it, but like it started getting in the way of their relationship. And this guy, as he says, essentially took the path of least resistance, which I interpret pretty literally as he just broke up with this girl. He moved as far away as possible and is just trying hard to forget her because, you know, as I said, he loves this person, but he just doesn't have the energy or the will or the strength to deal with her issues. And so, you know, he broke up with her, he moved away, and he's just like really struggling mentally with the memory of her. And it's just a really powerful song. It's really beautiful. And it just really spoke to me. But that's all I have to say about it. And the next track that I'm interested in talking about is actually track number 10. 9 is a good song. 9 is called Convenient Parking. But 10 is the one that I really wanted to get to. It has probably the second best production quality in the album. Just sonically, it's just such an amazing sound, as you'll see. So with that said, let's check out track number 10.
I'm going to Colorado and to unload my head. I'm going to New York City, that's some New York friends. Going up to Alaska, gonna get off scot-fucking-free, and we all do.
This song is just so beautifully recorded. Just that sound, like, I can't even, like, just the sound of the guitar and his singing as a package is really just one of the most heavenly sounds in all of music history, really. I mean, this is really up there for me, if I'm being honest. But it is a little disappointing in the sense that the lyrics are kind of like, you know, not super great. I mean, basically the song is about a trucker who apparently is doing something illegal, you know, and it sounds like he's doing it with other people. But as he says, he's going to get off scot-free. So, you know, I don't know what he's doing. It doesn't really matter in the sense that, like, lyrically, it's not the strong point. You know, this song is not lyrically strong. It's just the sound of it. Like, sonically speaking, this recording is just so amazing and memorable to me. But anyway, so I have one last clip for you guys. It's from the last song, track 11. And the lyrics on this last clip are just so incredibly moving. Like, I honestly tear up a little bit every time I listen to them. They're just so powerful and human. So yeah, let's check them out.
Your body may be gone, I'm gonna carry you in my head, in my heart, in my soul. And maybe we'll get lucky and we'll both live again. Well, I don't know, I don't know, I don't think so.
So that's Ocean Breathes Salty, and just such an amazing romantic philosophical part of the album. These lyrics are just really, really good, you know, because in the beginning it sounds like this guy, he's probably pretty old, you know, his wife died, and she's going to live on in this guy's thoughts and memories and things like that. But then he's going a step further, and, you know, maybe he doesn't believe in heaven in the sense of like, oh, well, when I die, then I'll just see her in heaven. But he's getting really philosophical. He's thinking about reincarnation maybe. And essentially what he's saying is like, you know, I was lucky to live one life with you, but even if we both live again, we're probably not going to meet each other again. So like the fact that if you think about it that way, you know, they only had this one life together. And if you think about romance in those terms, you know, like you just had this was your only experience with your loved one, is this one life, but now they're gone, they've died, so now you're never going to see them again. Even if you both reincarnate, you're never ever going to meet this person's soul again, so to speak. So it's just really sad if you think about it like that. But it is something that I've thought about myself. So, you know, when I heard this song, it just really spoke to me. And I just really wanted to share it with you guys. But really, that's all I have to say about this album. You know, it's a fairly short album. You know, musically, as I mentioned, it's not necessarily diverse. It's just a bunch of looping guitars that he speaks over, or that he sings over. And, you know, as I mentioned, the actual recordings of the guitars are just so well thought through. The sound is terrific. It's very memorable. But it's just a really wonderful, contemplative, introspective album. I really, really like it, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. But again, feel free to comment with what you thought about the album. I'd love to check it out. And if you like the video, if I've, perhaps made you think about it in a new way or something, I hope you like and subscribe. It would really help out. I like making videos, and I've got a bunch of stuff lined up, so I'm very excited. So yeah, this is Tiny Cities by Sun Kill Moon. Check it out. I hope you like it. Have a good one.